Well, the October data is in. For most of 2024, we've seen the industry ADS hover remarkably consistent around the 268 to 269 a day mark. And that was due to ANAC being more about balancing care minutes with revenue. However, providers benefited from the department's ANAC indexation, which surged, pushing the industry average to 297.40 per day. Now let's look at some of our year-long trends. January through to September, we saw a stable band around the 268. And then in October, with the indexation, a dramatic rise to 297.40. So over the entire year, we had an increase of nearly $30 a day in our ADS. Now, our regional cousins in the modified Monash 5 facilities have maintained their traditional premium throughout the year, but October saw them soar by $38.05 to reach $314.27 a day. Our specialized homeless facilities, which have consistently tracked above $355 a day all year, broke through to $397.74 with a $39.87 a day increase in funding. Now, the claiming landscape across 2024 has shown interesting patterns, and October's data adds another positive chapter to this story. Total claiming activity rose to 8.5%, up 0.5% from September period. Now, the year-to-date trends show that consistent claiming activity has been hovering around that band of 7 to 8.5%. Now, voluntary claiming has remained remarkably stable throughout 2024, currently sitting at 5.31% across services. Now, one of our biggest success stories this year has been the consistent improvement in assessment turnaround times. We started 2024 with the average waits of over 20 days as part of the department's KPI. And we've now have driven that down to just under 19 days, a reflection of improvement of efficiency across the sector. Now, occupancy has been one of our most stable metrics in 2024, and October continues this trend. At 88.95% occupied bed days, we're seeing a slight uptick, keeping up with that 88 to 89% band, which has been achieved all year. Now, this stability is partially impressive given the various challenges and changes the sector has faced this year. Short-term stays are now 22.5%, showing a slight decrease in staying of our typical range in 2024. However, October did bring some seasonal shifts. New permanent admissions were down just over 17% over the period, and respite bed day usage decreased just over 15% as well. Now, the respite to permanent conversion rates at facilities achieved 46%, which was a slight 5.25% drop from previous months. Now, these figures align with typical seasonal patterns we've observed throughout the 2024 year. Now for the headline story, October marked one of the first months under the new care minute requirements. And when we look at our year-long journey, it's impressive to see how the sector has prepared for and has met this challenge. Let's track the progression over 2024. Now, in early 2024, care minutes were hovering around the 203 to 204 minute average. By mid-year, there was fluctuation, but steady preparation was in play, which meant by September, we saw achieved and short access to just over 214 minutes being achieved. And finally, by October, the industry had tipped over the 215 average per resident per day care minutes as determined and set by the Department of Health. RN minutes tell a similar success story over the year. From January to August, we saw a band of around 38 to 40 minutes per resident per day. And by September, they were successfully achieving just over 44 minutes. By October, and by the end of October specifically, that achievement settled in at 44.26 minutes per day per resident. Now, the addition of enrolled minutes, which was around 6 minutes in October, under the new 10% allowance policy, has improved the crucial flexibility in achieving these targets by the sector. Now, allied health services have shown consistent growth throughout 2024, with October reaching just over 10 minutes per resident per day, a 6% increase, and a broader upward trend achieved throughout the year. If you're looking to understand how your facility's performance tracks against these yearly trends or need support in optimizing your ANAC performance, our team is here to help you and analyze and action these insights for you. That's all for this month's deep dive into the data. Until next time, keep up the great work in providing quality care to your elderly Australians.